The band Loveless just dropped a new music video called I Hope I'm Not Sick that is full of hidden meanings and symbols because in a recent interview, Julian confirmed that the whole music video came from a dream that he had. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lyon. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, certified trauma hypnotherapist, and the internet's dream interpreter. So who better to help you discover the symbols inside of this dream-like music video than a professional dream interpreter? But before we get to it, please treat that subscribe button like you would your depression and just punch it right in the throat, because it'll make you feel better. So let's jump right into it. This music video is fantastic, by the way. And I just want to get rolling through it and take you a play-by-play through all the different lines because it's just so rich and well done. And of course, Julian, if you're watching, Dylan, if you're watching, appreciate the both of you so much. Been following since the COVID days when you first blew up. I love it. I love it so much. Would be a super fan if you reacted to any of this. Here we go.
Don't even like this, swear it isn't mine. No, it's not becoming, no, it isn't fine.
So let's go play by play. There's already so many things going on. They're in a hospital. They're being wheeled through the halls, right? And so if you look, got the lyrics up right here. Don't even like this, swear it isn't mine. No, it's not becoming, no, it isn't fine. So for most of you who are maybe new to this whole thing, dreams are the process of our mind making sense of our waking life experiences. So anytime that there's a problem that you're experiencing in your waking life, your dreams are going to try and figure that problem out while you sleep. It's one of the many just amazing and incredible things that your brain does. So in this first verse, he says, don't even like this. Yeah. Swear it isn't mine, because a lot of times our dreams are the outside world that is coming in and helping us reprocess what we're feeling. So it's like, it doesn't feel like it's a part of me because I'm experiencing a part of myself that maybe is uncomfortable, maybe is confusing, and I know it's not becoming, no, it isn't fine. It's working through the problems that just don't feel right yet. Now, of course, we're in a hospital, right? So if you ever dream about a hospital, what does that mean? Why would Julian be thinking about a hospital? Hospitals have both a good and a bad meaning. I mean, we go to hospitals during bad times. Like if you're in a hospital, that's not a good thing. Someone is passing away or you're very sick. But with the hospital comes the promise of becoming better. And somebody in one of their live streams, they actually asked, they're like, hey, is this about mental health? And so huge shout out to subscriber over on the Discord, Raylan, who said he went live after the video dropped. Someone asked him if the hospital was supposed to be a mental health kind of nod. And he said it's everything or whatever you want it to be, obviously wanting his fans to project onto it, which is good for a musician. But he says the video is a dream, right? So if you're dreaming about a hospital, very simply, it means that there's something wrong with your life that you want fixed. And you know that that process is going to be painful and difficult, but through going through the painful process of recovery, you have a better long-term shot of getting better and experiencing the life that you want to live. And so you can see as this song unfolds, it's Julian trying to make sense of that and trying to go through the process of becoming better, even though that is a difficult and painful experience.
Wish that I could be somebody else, anybody, just somebody.
Oh, I hate to stop it there.
I'm not sick, I dream in broken promises that...
Okay, I can't just listen to the whole music video. But he goes on to say, wish I could be somebody else, anybody, just somebody else. Well, that's what our brains do while we dream. You have all sorts of different characters inside of you. I mean, Julian himself, you know, is a musician, a performer, but that's not all that Julian or Dylan are. They are children to their parents. They are relatives to their relatives. They are human beings. They are students of teachers. You know, I'm sure that there's people that they look up to in the music industry that they're like, oh my gosh, I want to be like them one day. And so there's all these different roles that they play. And when we dream, our mind goes and searches for those roles to find if a different role will help us overcome the struggle that we're having in that moment. So when he says, wish I could be somebody else, anybody, just somebody else, he's recognizing, and the dream is recognizing that this person that he's pretending to be, and it's a real part of his character, but this character that he's playing right now is not the character that can overcome this challenge. And he's going to have to find and discover a new part of his own character that will help him overcome and triumph during this difficult moment. Man, it's so good. It's so good. So then you get to the chorus, right? I hope I'm not sick. I dream in broken promises. And I tell you, this is where I knew for sure this is a dream, because those dreams are those broken promises. When we want something and expect something and that gets broken and we're left defeated and just feeling broken down, our dreams go in and process that. So it's like, I dream of broken promises that start to set in. I wish that I could let me win. And even that last line, I think that's got to be my favorite. I wish that I could let me win. Isn't it funny how dreams come from our brain, but our brain oftentimes doesn't let us win? We're punching monsters, but our fist doesn't do the amount of damage that we'd like. We're trying to run to get somewhere on time, but our feet are like cement or stuck in molasses. We're running through a maze from a monster, but our mind created the maze and we can't find our own way out. It's so frustrating. And so it's like, I wish that I could let me win. It's all about the self-sabotage that happens in a dream and then also happens in our waking life. So let's see where he goes from here.
Got me cut off from the life in my veins now. Locked up in a coin toss to get up or stay down.
Oof, yeah. Gosh, so good. This verse, I think, is actually one of the hardest to interpret, but if you look at it, it really starts to make sense. I mean, check this out. Caught, got me cut off, cut it, from the life in my veins now. Locked up in a coin toss to get up or stay down. There's two thoughts here. Caught, got me cut off. The idea of cutting, dividing, division, separation, light from dark, black from white, yin from yang, can be a real problem that our mind starts to engage in. We dream in things that are very black and white sometimes and very direct. And so it can be very intense, but that's really part of the problem. When we enter into a traumatic response, we become very black and white about things. This is all good. This is all bad. Because in those moments, our mind goes back to a childlike state. And so our dreams go back to this childlike state. Locked up in a coin toss. Is it going to be heads or tails? Life, as we know, is much more than just heads or tails. Cut, black and white. There's gray. There's gray everywhere. And so to me, in this verse, it's about Julian trying to figure out, hey, how do I allow space for this gray, allow myself to be expressive and be something where most of life wants me to live in this black and white duality? I mean, we even see that with a lot of the things we're understanding today about gender identity and gender fluidity. It's not about I have to be this thing or that thing. It's about bringing those together and being expressive of who we are and diving deep into our dreams to find and fix through that hospital, through that sickness, that black and white division that we often experience. And I think Julian's struggling with this in this verse, in this part of the song, because he's recognizing there's so much more than just that division. Wish that I could be somebody else, anybody else, because I can't do this myself. Again, this goes back to that identity. Wish that I could be somebody else. I know that this type of person that I am is a little bit too intense, a little bit too black and white. I need a new part of me, a new characteristic of my own identity that is more whole. And that's the beauty of dreams, is they help us explore and find those things. I mean, that's what dreams do, right? They juxtapose things that don't make any sense being together in order to help us uncover that gray space that really is a much more authentic expression of who we actually are. There's also some little moments in here. If you notice, the topic of being sick comes up over and over again. And sick, as a metaphor inside of our dreams, is when something isn't working the way that it's supposed to. For example, you get sick, you get a runny nose. Your runny nose, your boogers are meant to help keep infection out of your nose. It's meant to trap the dust particles and the little things that might get into your lungs that you don't want there. But when we get sick, we just produce too much of it. And then we become congested, we get a sinus headache, the whole thing. Fever, same way. Fever is actually supposed to help you get rid of an illness, but sometimes we can become so feverish, so hot, that we actually make ourselves sicker and we start to hurt our internal organs. So you can see, like, in this experience, that topic of being sick is how, hey, I wish that I could let me win. I wish that I could get over this. I'm kind of self-sabotaging myself, and I know that I need to transform and get better. There's also light bulbs. If you notice the strategic placement of light bulbs around the room, that I don't think is just nonchalant or unintentional. That's done with purpose and with decision, because light bulbs are a sign for insight. Light inside of our dreams is any time that we are understanding, and that's where we get that little meme with or at least the emoji with the light bulb above the head. It's like, oh, I understand. Light for a long time has been the metaphor for understanding and wisdom. So shedding a light on this sickness helps us move past and move forward. Back to the song.
Wish that I could be somebody else, anybody else, 'cause I can't do this myself. I hope I'm not sick. I dream in broken promises that start to set in. I wish that I could let me win. I hope I'm not sick. I dream in broken promises that start to set in. I wish that I could let me win.
All right, here's where it's going to start getting interesting. You'll see the story kind of unfold. We've set the landscape, right? We're in the hospital. We're sick. There's confusion as he wakes up here of trying to find out who he is. Very, very dreamlike. So let's see where this goes. Again, the confusion. He's like, come on, let's go. We got to get out of here. Now, notice this book falling. I don't think that was done by mistake. I mean, you're putting together a whole music video and you intentionally create a shot that looks just like this one. I think there's got to be some purpose, some meaning behind this. So think about it. What does a book symbolize? It symbolizes wisdom, intelligence, and data. But oftentimes, in order to go forward, we have to set that book, that learning behind us. It can only create a foundation for us to then apply the knowledge that we've learned to our life experiences. And so oftentimes people will dream about libraries, people will dream about books as a way to help understand. You need to gather that data, but then once you've gathered the data, gathered the information that you need to be wise about moving forward, it's up to you to really apply it, because wisdom doesn't just happen from books. You have to apply that wisdom. And so you see, as he grabs his leather jacket, the book falls on the floor, showing him putting the books, putting the data, and maybe even that black and white again behind him on the floor so he can move forward. And it's really cool that Dylan, says, hey, I'm wheeling this wheelchair. I may not have the legs to do it, but we're going to figure it out together. And so I think this is done very intentionally here.
I'll take anything I can get, 'cause it's not safe in the back of my head.
That's got to be my favorite line. I know I keep saying that, but look at this. I'll take anything I can get because it's not safe in the back of my head. So he's like, hey, I'll take anything that I can get. I need some new input. I need some new data so I can figure some things out because it's not safe in the back of my head. Did you know that dreams come from the rear part of your brain? And so again, he was so intentional about doing this with his dreams and with this music video. Dreams come from back here. And he's like, hey, it's not safe back here. I have nightmares. I have traumas. I have frustrations and mental health issues that are causing me difficulties when I go to bed, when I sleep, when I dream, and then for my waking life afterwards. So smart guy here. He goes on to say, roller coaster type reaction. Get me off. I feel like crashing, never finding satisfaction. If you dream about roller coasters inside, of your dreams, inside of your sleep, roller coasters go in a circle and they're very intense with their emotions. And oftentimes people who dream about roller coasters are experiencing intense emotions that aren't actually getting them anywhere. So roller coasters tend to actually be a bad dream symbol. And Julian's putting that in here. Perhaps his life feels very emotionally intense, but it's not like going anywhere that's actually helpful. I find that a lot of people who struggle with bipolar intensity of their emotions have roller coaster dreams. It's like, I want to get off, feel like I'm crashing. I'm never actually finding satisfaction because it's not a journey. Roller coasters are just a circle. Interesting, right?
Roller coaster type reaction, get me off. I feel like crashing, never finding satisfaction. But I hope I'm not sick.
I love the middle fingers to the authority. I think that's really what he's struggling with. The books on the ground, disrespect for authority, the middle fingers to the person who's like keeping him trapped inside of this hospital. And so it's this tension. I need to get better, but I want to also not be trapped. I want to be free to express myself. Again, the light bulb, you see? And I know that this is done just for like, dramatic effect and because it's a great music video, but the flashing lights, I mean, gosh, can't you just see that that is a metaphor for the moments of insight that we have into our life? And we put these images of insight together from our dreams and from our waking life experience to help us move forward. You're trying to push down the hall to be free. And we just get these snapshots of blinking lights to see things clearly before we go back into the darkness to struggle with our own mental health.
Promises that start to set in. I wish that I could let me win. I hope I'm not sick. I dream
So good, Julian Dylan. I love it. I hope you guys see this. I hope I'm close to the interpretations for you. I hope it makes some sense. But there's one last thing before we go. Notice how they're looking over the bed as they end this video. Two very important things. You guys are clever. Dylan and Julian, clever with this, because that out-of-body experience is a very classic sleep paralysis experience. And two, it's a great metaphor for what happens while we dream. We are looking into ourselves. And so the people that we get frustrated, keeping us tied down in our life, as you can see, they're dressed up as the doctors who they were just flipping off down the hallway, are actually ourselves. Those things that we find the most frustrating in others is often a projection of those parts of ourselves that we struggle to make sense of, to accept, and to integrate into our full being. And so even in this last moment of the music video, they think is just like, oh, wrapping up, it's kind of over. No. I think it was done intentional. This is self-reflective, an image of self-reflection, and an image of, hey, I have to admit, some of those things that I'm frustrated with the world have gotten to be a part of me, and I'm trying to get them out. This is me operating on myself, saying, I hope I'm not sick. I hope that I can make this into the future and have the life that I want to live. And I think for Julian and Dylan, to spread that life and spread that message to others. I hope you go watch the music video, stream it all day long so they get the plays and get the views. I wish the most success to Loveless, the band. I hope you guys see this, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.